Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. Is the M1 Mac Mini still viable for 2025? Only if you have at least 16 gigs of RAM. Doesn't matter what your drive size is inside, because you can always go external with that. Use it as a boot drive, use it as a whatever you want to throw on it kind of deal. Okay? So internal drives are no longer important to give Apple any of their freaking blood money because it's a ripoff. But we are slaves to RAM no matter what. Now, what I'm going to tell you is I have a Mac Mini M1 16 by 512, and I paid a crap load of money for this 3 years ago from Apple because I had to custom order it, okay? And 3 years, 11 days as of today. And of course, my warranty expired 11 days ago, but they did give me like 48 days to renew it for another however long I want to. And I'm not going to bother because there's no point. Besides, I'm hoping in the new year, should I get a miracle that I'm hoping for, I'll be able to replace it with a new system. And I am kind of leaning toward a Mini Pro. I don't want a base model M4 chip. My friend just got one in a Mac Pro laptop, 14-inch, and he paid like $2,200. And Minecraft still can't do fabulous mode without that error coming up where you take your chances at screwing crap up royally. And it's like, and they're not responsible if you're being an idiot. So, anyways, however, on the other side of the fence, I'm still doing pretty good with 16 gigs of RAM. But with Sequoia 15.2, I have noticed a little bit of slowdown on exporting my videos. And you guys know I'm not flashy. I give you an intro and outro and bleh, okay? And so very basic, very cut and dry. I don't do any, enhancements other than I might raise the volume of an audio clip, but I certainly will not manipulate sound and stuff like that because I want to give you guys the real picture, okay? Not something that somebody screwed with. Anyway, but that is one thing I've noticed is a little bit more lag time on exporting with iMovie. Other than that, I did have a freeze up, but that has nothing to do with the computer. It has to do with there's a bug in Sequoia somewhere that Apple needs to fix. There's also the other bug of Minecraft in Sequoia that I've noticed with the 15.2 update that was not in the last update of Sequoia, and that's with Minecraft. Sometimes you fire up Minecraft and your normal cursor arrow that you have right now on screen, you shake it and it goes big. Well, that's going to be on your screen along with your target sensor, and it's like, oh, huh? So then you got to quit the program all the way to the desktop and relaunch the program, and hopefully this time it clears. If not, you'll have to quit it again and do it again until it clears out, and then you can play your game in peace. Okay? So that's been an issue. I fired up a few of my other games today for the first time since I've done my reload stuff. And Elder Scrolls is working perfectly fine. And it goes full out Ultra 1080p right now. And I actually took it back to medium to speed it up a bit. Ultra's actually works pretty good, but I want a bit more FPS. So I took it down to medium graphics, and there's really not that much difference. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is also running fine. These two programs are PC-only games, and I wrapped them with a program called Paul the Tall Porting Toolkit. And it's to convert PC to Mac, okay? So this way we don't have to run Windows emulator, program third-party crap, and pay through the bloody nose just to keep that crap running. So doesn't always work successful, though. Some games work better than others. So, and some, it'll wrap it, but it may or may not even fire up. It's kind of hard to say. Nothing's 100% guarantee in life. My Mac-only games that I have in here, they seem to be all still fine so far. I still got to go through the rest of them, but otherwise things seem to be smooth with Sequoia. But you do need 16 gigs of RAM. If you have 8, you're screwed. Sequoia wants just a little shy of 7 gigabytes of RAM to itself. If you run into swap, which you will have to with 8 gigs of RAM pretty much all the time, you're going to burn out your drive, and you're going to burn it out fast. Not only that, you take a very big performance hit. Not as big as you did on Intel chips, but it's still going to be there because you're going to be running hotter CPU, GPU temps, and your system is just going to be overworked because, well, you're running virtual memory off of a drive in order to run programs. And that's not healthy for the drive at all. Okay, in fact, that will cause premature death of a hard drive years, or SSD in this case, years before it should. And you unfortunately cannot assign a drive where swap goes to. So you can't have a killjoy drive, in other words, okay? It all takes it from wherever your OS drive is. So it's just the way it goes. But at least you don't have to worry about internal drive space. For the last little over 2.5 years, I ran an external drive as a boot drive. And this way I just left my internal drive alone. This way it has like no wear and tear on it, right? The last couple months, I switched back to running the internal for a while just to, do something different and see how things would go this time, and space usage and all this other stuff. And I still got over 300 gigs free. Now keep in mind, you do need an external drive where you should be keeping things like all your video games. Just run them on an external drive, leave your internal drive space alone for other things, okay? Anything like pictures and video files and stuff you can't afford to freaking lose. You put that on an external drive. Then you get another external drive and you basically copy all the crap from that one onto the other one. And then this way you have an emergency. And then as you update your one external drive, update the same files onto the other one. So you definitely are safe no matter what goes down in life. And then this way, even if your internal drive that you're using or an external boot drive, if something happens to it, who the hell cares? Pull the stick out, slam a new one in. If it's an external kind of boot drive you're doing, do a reload. You're back up and running in like no time, literally, okay? And that's a bonus. Internal drives, you can't replace them. You cook it, you're done. You buy a new computer, okay? It's going to be cheaper than getting Apple to even fix it. So, and considering the trade-in value of a 16 by 512 M1 Mini right now is only $205, I don't even think they're going to put them on the website for sale. I think they're just buying them to use the parts because you can use the power supply, the fan, and the case for an M2. So, because it's the same frickin' machine, just to change the logic board, right? So that's probably all they're buying them for, and that's why they're paying so little money. But that is a rake job, man. Like, seriously. For the money I paid for this thing 3 years ago, and it's only worth $205 to them, like, that's worse than the damn pawn shop. I get a better deal out of the pawn shop. Private deal, we're talking $450-ish for a 16 by 512. Last year, a 16 by 512 averaged $900 on the used market, and people were getting it easily. But now, not a chance, okay? And an 8 by 256 right now is worth about $200 on the used market because it's a base model pathetic piece of garbage that's just going to be running virtual memory all the time just to run anything. So if you've only got 8 gigs, throw it in the garbage and go buy a new Mac, okay? Anyways, because Apple probably won't even give you more than $100 for it anyhow. But yeah, and speaking of which, I want to just go brief off the rails here a little bit. I'm looking at my next, if I buy into another Mini, which I probably will, I would love to have a studio with an M4, because then, to me, I'd be good for 10 years. But in this case, for $1,900, you get a 12 by 16 with 24 gigs RAM and a half a terabyte. Now, the one thing I would definitely want to do with this for the Pro version, I would probably opt out to go to, because I would want this to be my last computer for the next 10 years, I'd probably go to set 64 gigs of RAM. It's massively overkill, but it's going to have to be there to survive 10 years. I mean, 48 gigs would still get me through for the next 10 years, but it would probably start to get a bit borderline, okay? Probably in about year 5, okay? And I definitely would want to go 14 by 20 for the CPU GPU, it's worth the extra $250. So our $2649 as a 48 with half a terabyte, which is more than enough because, like I said, if that starts to become too small for me, I'll just throw my 1 terabyte, or maybe I'll just change out that drive in that Thunderbolt case and put a 4 terabyte in there. And then I got 4 terabytes of storage. But I really don't think I'm going to have to go that far with it. Maybe a 2 terabyte tops. And I'm not even using my whole 2 terabytes worth of my PC. So I could actually rip that drive out. Cost me nothing. I've already got the case. I'm a golden child. And then I can take my 1 terabyte that I have sitting in the case now, throw that in my PC, and then I'll have 2 terabytes online in that drive. One's a dump drive already for backup of software, for reload. The other one's C drive. That's all I need. I'm good. For what I do, that's the big thing. It's for what you do. What do you need for what you do? The M4 Pro Mini is not a pro level machine in my opinion, but it is more of a better choice, especially if you're going to get into more hardcore. It's a mid-level machine, okay, is what it is. And it really is. The M1s, they're all base level to semi-mid-level users, which I kind of consider myself kind of like the semi-mid to mid. Like, I'm definitely mid to semi-pro for audio production. For video stuff, I'm kind of like I'm more of a semi-mid guy because, you know, I'm not flashy with my crap. So, you know, it's just the way I roll. So I don't need a whole ton for that sort of thing. But their drive space is getting outrageous. I wouldn't pay them a nickel. But, hey, it comes with a half a terabyte. Get in on it. You know what I mean? By the time I can probably afford this, I'll probably find some used ones on the refurbished store. But I'm still going to go brand spanking new. I don't want somebody else's machine. I want brand new. If I'm going to spend this money, I want brand new, customized the way Cavi Alla wants it, okay? And besides, I definitely want that 14 by 20 if I'm going to go with another Mini. The one thing that does disappoint me, though, I got to be honest right now, is no more Type A ports. But you do get 3 Thunderbolt 4s, which is a big step up from Thunderbolt 3 that we have now on the M1 and M2s. And then you get 2 Type-C normal ports up front. No card reader, but who cares? I got one sitting right here under my table, plugs right into my hub, and then I'll have to change my hub cable from Type A and put a Type A to C adapter on, and then I'll be fine there and just utilize one of the Thunderbolt ports for that. That or just get a whole new hub, but there's no real point. This one works fine. So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So the Mini's definitely still going to be fine. Any M1 computer, as long as you have 16 gigs of RAM, is still going to be fine for 2025. Any one of them. So call this a genericized extra video, okay? We are talking the M1 Mini specifically, but I am also going to throw under the bus all M1s, period. If it has 16 gigs, you are okay for at least 1 more year for sure as far as the RAM goes. Drive space, we've already discussed it, okay? Processing power, I don't know what configuration you got. Mine's an 8-core by 8-core, and it's running fine. I don't like efficiency cores. They are annoying as hell. That is another thing that kind of really pisses me off about Apple. They still are not listening to the people where we have been saying, friggin' get rid of your efficiency cores in desktops. They are not needed, they are not wanted, nor desired. We want all performance cores running full horsepower, not a half-crippled frickin' machine. Okay, we want a real computer. I've got 8 performance-only cores in my PC. It will eat any Mac with Apple Silicon for breakfast for gaming and spit it out sideways. I don't care what you think. It's a fact, okay? As far as video editing goes, though, it sucks donk. It's still 17 minutes behind this thing. So, and that's even using the more basic program for that. Like iMovie's basic, right? Well, so is Windows Movie Maker, and I still have the original Windows Movie Maker that was still around before they cut it off the internet, and I run that. But even DaVinci to DaVinci, hey, that thing is still be way behind my Mac Mini. Way behind. But gaming, that thing kicks butt and takes names. And I got some pretty good games on that computer. And yeah, I'm sorry, but Apple can't even touch the numbers yet. And they're about to release Cyberpunk. It's native on the M4 chip. And right now, under emulation, it has not really improved its FPS very much. And I've been able to tweak the FPS on my Cyberpunk, which is the original version. I first started to run that game even on my tower, and I had a hard time breaching 50. And I've got it going over 100 now. And that's not too shabby with a 4 gig video card. Now, the new version of Cyberpunk, of course, I don't even have enough horsepower to get that thing past 45. Maybe I might get 47 if I'm lucky. But at least I'm getting over 100 now on mine. And that's very extremely playable. And the graphics are still intact and doing very nicely. So can't complain too much there. But anyways, I still like my Mini. I'm still going to be using it as long as I can until I just can't deal with it anymore. But Apple does have to do some Sequoia bug fixes, and hopefully that'll even fix my editing time that I'm running into. Maybe that'll be the fix to cure that too. Because I don't even think they've done an iMovie update yet since the Sequoia 15.2. So maybe that's another reason why I'm having some editing issues. What caused the complete system lockout the other day? Not a friggin' clue. But I had to do a hard shutdown to get it back to normal. And like I said, we have the Minecraft bug in there too. Anyway, that's pretty much where I'm sold out on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But I don't see any reason why you will have any issues with any M1s. As long as you have 16 gigs of RAM, you will be absolutely and perfectly fine for the whole of 2025. And might be into the early 2026. We'll have to see how things go. I will keep you up to date as to what I am doing. I highly doubt that even if I do replace this machine, if I will end up selling it, I will probably use it for something else. Probably just a straight music production machine, because there's more than enough of everything for that. Okay? But I do want a more powerful Mac and something where I have more variety to games that I do like that will run fine, because right now there's nothing for M1 games that I do like that actually run fine enough. So yeah, it's kind of like so I'm kind of stuck with what I got with games that do run, but I'm talking cooler games. I want cooler games, and for that I guess I'm gonna have to bite it eventually and get something different, but we'll have to see how things go. That's the bottom line. So see ya.